How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern. And it's Tuesday here on this show. I barely made it, but I'm here today. And we got a lot to get into here today. Last night was Monday Night Raw, and a lot of things being built for the next pay-per-view. And not just the next pay-per-view, but the next several weeks. We've got a new women's champion who is going to be crowned next Monday on Raw. And we have no idea how, but we'll talk about that here in a moment. And, of course, we've also got the upcoming pay-per-view. And we've got a mini tournament leading to a challenger for Cody at that pay-per-view. And we'll talk about everything that went down on Raw, including the Sami Zayn-Chad Gable main event with a Chad Gable turn, and all of the latest on Rhea Ripley, who did, in fact, as was speculated yesterday, have to vacate the WWE Women's title. She's going to be out for a while, and I got a lot to say about that. Talked a lot about it yesterday, but I want to address a couple of things that people have been talking about. So we're going to talk about that. Obviously, tonight is NXT, and we have a number of matches announced for this show and next week's show, actually, because we have two big main events. It is a steel cage match tonight, Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, and it is Trick Williams versus Ilya Dragunov for the title on next week's show, where if Trick Williams does not win the title, he has to leave NXT. We'll talk about AEW Dynamite tomorrow. We've got multiple segments, like 9 segments announced for the show, including, just announced, we will hear from Mercedes Moné. So that should be something. Got Dynamite coming up, Dynasty coming up this weekend, and plenty more. If you want to text us today, I think we'll have a lot of time for questions. 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. F4WOnline@gmail.com. F4W Online Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. At Bryan Alvarez on Twitter and X. Back in a moment with Mike Sempervive. For real this time. Observer Live.
Was one of the veteran British actors who had a role in Star Wars.
Sir Alec Guinness.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Peter Cushing and the Sunshine
Peter
Band.
Cushing.
Peter Cushing and
Stop! Stop!
What was the Star Wars budget?
It was like $1 million or something nutty. God. Peter Cushing and the fucking Sunshine.
Language. 11
You
million.
made me do that. You made me do that.
No.
Peter
Nobody
Cushing.
makes you do that.
Because when you see Peter Cushing, the two things you think of are sunshine and disco.
God help me.
Okay.
I'm going to look up a picture of him right now, in fact.
Someone Photoshop him into a case.
Oh, I think this is coming in the best of the B&B show. I think someone's already underway. Yep, sunshiny. Yeah, that when you look up Peter Cushing, that's a sunshiny individual.
God.
Okay, that's all for me.
We've almost reached the pinnacle of the tour, but this is one of the most important things. This is the computer. This is the workstation where I do the majority of the actual physical part of putting Figure 4 together. I do the writing here, the editing here, of course the phone calls, even the microphone here when we used to do Wrestling Observer Live, which has since died. And in fact, I better put the screensaver on here so this doesn't get burned in the screen. But putting the newsletter together, people understand, it's a lot of hard work and dedication, like 2 to 3 hours per week sometimes I have to spend on it. And hold on a second. Figure 4, who's this? Carl Thorillo? Yeah. Yeah, hey, listen, can I call you back? I'm doing something here right now. My fridge? Yes, running. Hello? Prank call. Anyway, this is, like I said, computer. Got the TV here. This is pretty much the place. This is going to be a quick tour of the trophy room. This is actually my trophy case. It's made of mahogany, very expensive. But what is worth far more than the case itself is what is inside, and that is the medals from the various sports and the accomplishments that I've achieved during my lifetime. This first drawer here is my gymnastics medal. Here, I got state and such. These are my Taekwondo medals. These down here, amateur wrestling medals. And down here are the 26 medals that I won in the 5-kilometer walk down to the Bothell Landing over the course of the past 5.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Well, we got a lot to talk about here today, Michael.
Do we now?
Yeah. All right, so the first thing, obviously, is Rhea Ripley. She was forced to vacate the women's title on Raw Monday. And got a lot to say. So we talked about it yesterday. First off, how much it sucks when people get hurt. And, yesterday I was thinking about, well, we had this road to WrestleMania. It was her and Becky Lynch. And, who's going to win that match? And I, and actually many others, argued, well, Rhea should retain. Number one, because a lot of baby faces are going over. We should have a few heel wins. And technically, at the time she was a heel and Becky was a babyface. And she's also hot. She's the hottest women's star in the company and one of the hottest stars, male or female, in the entire company. And so it didn't seem right to beat her. And so then, the night after WrestleMania, she did a brawl backstage with Liv. And during the brawl, she got thrown into a wall and she got injured. And apparently it was an AC joint injury, which is a shoulder separation. And I've suffered a shoulder separation before. Sucks. And, there are various grades. It's like grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, I believe. And, depending on what grade you have, that tells you the severity. So I don't remember what mine was, but I do remember. I know this will be hard for some of you to believe, but I was once very big and strong. And I could bench over 200 pounds. And after I suffered my injury, I could not bench the bar, which is 45 pounds. I literally could not bench the bar one time. It was bad. And so with an AC joint injury, it's usually, depending on the severity, it's, few, I forget what I wrote in the deal. I think 4 to 6 weeks to regain mobility, and usually in about 3 months, you're good to go, okay? So, serious injury, and we don't know what the severity is, but it's serious, okay? So then, there were people online, they said, if this happened to a man, wouldn't be stripped of the title. And they brought up that Seth Rollins badly injured his knee around the time of the Royal Rumble, and he missed months. They did not strip him of the title. And he was able to make it back in time for WrestleMania. What's so funny?
Just the difference between the two situations.
Well, here's what I thought.
Let's be honest here. With Seth Rollins' knee injury, with the type of knee injury that it was, he was only going to be out about 4 weeks.
Well, we actually don't know how long.
WrestleMania.
We don't know how long she'll be out. It could be 2 months. Could be longer, okay? But I was thinking about this. Hold on. So, Seth Rollins was the champion at Royal Rumble, and originally, the match, which had been already built for weeks and weeks and weeks, was Seth Rollins, CM Punk for the title at WrestleMania. And so, obviously, CM Punk also got hurt. And they started to do that storyline with Drew McIntyre. And, yeah, you could have stripped Seth of the title and done a tournament culminating at some match at WrestleMania or whatever. Or you could do what they did, which I thought, I mean, if you look at, we could talk about WrestleMania business later. Nobody can argue that it was a failure, what they ended up doing with Seth and Cody and Rock and Roman. It was a gigantic, enormous success, okay? Now, Rhea Ripley. Well, let's think about this. I want everyone to suggest, who do you believe should be beating Rhea Ripley like right now? Piper Niven? Chelsea? Well, who? Well, as I thought about it, it's like, okay, we could just keep Rhea on ice for 2-3 months, and then as champion, she just has a match with Liv Morgan, and then she beats her. Okay, you could do that, but honestly, is it not better that the unbeatable Rhea Ripley got injured backstage, was forced to give up her title? Did you see the reaction that she got last night when she had to come out and everybody knew she was going to have to give up the title? She was the biggest babyface last night, and she had to lay down that belt that nobody could beat her for. It was stripped of her wrongly, and now she's going away, and Liv is bragging about it, and she's happy about it, and she says that Rhea deserved it, and Liv is now a full-on heel. She'll probably win the title. Undeserved is how they'll push it. I don't know who her opponent's going to be or whatever. And then they build to the big return of Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam, going for the title she never lost and getting revenge on Liv Morgan, winning the title in that giant stadium or whatever. Bro, that's way better than just a random Rhea Ripley title defense against Liv Morgan. So my point is, I don't know if they had to strip her, but when I think about it, I think this might have been the best thing for her and for her reign and for, her and Liv, both. So anyway, that's what I thought watching last night. She was so over, dude, and people hated Liv Morgan. It's already hotter because of what happened.
Rhea Ripley goes away hot. And for all the reasons that you just mentioned, you don't want to have an injury of any kind to anybody. But if there's going to be an injury, you look at what can be the silver linings here? And Rhea Ripley departs as hot as she possibly could be, coming off her win at WrestleMania in this long title reign. Nobody has beaten her. You have built-in stories with Liv Morgan now, including turning her to heel. When Rhea comes back, you can see throughout all of this time where are we at with the Judgment Day. Does that, there's so much here that, again, you don't want to see anybody get hurt, but now that she's gotten hurt, what can we do? Well, there's a lot actually on the table there when it comes to her. So, again, there's no positive to it other than she's going to come back not only just as hot, I would think, but actually red hotter, because at some point she's going to be a full-fledged babyface, and maybe we're waiting right now. Maybe they're not sure on what they want to do exactly with the WWE Women's Championship and who is going to be involved in it, because we do have the draft starting up next Friday on SmackDown. So they may be dotting some I's and crossing some T's there, because I would think Liv Morgan is the person to win it, but it's not like she's going to be feuding with Maxine Dupree right after that. Do you bring over a Bianca or somebody from the SmackDown roster so they can beef over that belt?
So they did mention the draft is in 2 weeks, and they also, and they will, by the way, apparently be announcing the match for the vacant women's title on social media somewhat soon. So follow WWE social media, everybody, to find out who's going to be in this match next Monday.
I'd rather just follow the front page of this website and have them report it for me.
Well, we will. So anyway, they also did something else, which was they should have, they've done this already once with other belts, but they are no longer the Raw Tag Team Championships. They are now the World Tag Team Championships. R-Truth and Miz were given new belts, which miles beyond those old stupid dime belts that they had.
Yes.
Those stupid round belts with the stupid non-tapered leather strap that just looked horrible. Like, I wouldn't even take that as a gift, those stupid-looking belts.
Yeah, kill the coins, kill the pinky rings, too. I hate the big WWE pinky ring.
So they got rid of those belts. And so now on SmackDown, I presume they will now be the WWE Tag Team Championships. And so we will not have that issue that we had when this moron Vince was running Raw and SmackDown, where we had Raw and SmackDown specific titles, and then champions got drafted to the other brand, and then had to switch belts. Remember when Becky and Charlotte had to
Asuka.
switch belts?
Was Charlotte?
And Charlotte dropped it, and like
Yes.
that legitimately, I mean, I talked about it at the time, but we found out later it was true. That caused real issues, and it was so stupid. Now we don't have to worry about it. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
Here we have the meditation room. This is a room where I send Vince when he misbehaves, when he cooks my chicken, when it's undercooked, or whatever the problem is. It's only got two things in this entire room, completely empty, save for a chair right here, which you'll notice is made of videotapes. Unfortunately, there's so many tapes in this house that I have no room for furniture, so I did the next best thing, which is make a chair out of tapes. And he comes in here and he sits down and he reads. And I only allow Vince to read one book because I realize that what you read and what you believe is what you become. And that is The Law of Success in 16 Lessons by Napoleon Hill. This book was written in 1928. This book is over 70 years old. But the important thing is the message is just as vital today. And while Vince will probably remain a lackey the rest of his life, it's good that he reads this and learns of the basically the 16 laws which helped me become the success that I am today. And if you ever get a chance to pick up this book, it is amazing. As you can see, night has fallen, and we've pretty much worked and toiled all day long. And, you know, one of the secrets to my success, and I've mentioned this many times today, many different secrets, but one of them is more time for recreation and just hanging out and doing whatever. And so we're going to be taking a trip down to the recreational facilities where the pool and the basketball court, basically everything else is stationed. And recreation is also one of the ways that Vince and I managed to keep our bodies in, well, one of the ways that I managed to keep my body in such superb shape. So that's the next stop, is the recreational area. Here we are in the workout area. Everything a person would need to get in perfect physical shape. Got the, you know, the bench press machine right here. Have the leg press machine right there. We've got the, what the hell is that? Got the lat pull down machine right here. And I suppose since we're here, we might as well work out and do the, can you do 210, Vince? I could move it up to 110 or maybe 2, okay, go. Let's go. Pretty good. Is it 8? Okay. Let's go play basketball.
Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. Motor City Machine Guns expected to sign with AEW. Cassidy Haynes said Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin in the process of finalizing deals with the company. Decision has been made. A deal will be worked out. Shelley filed to trademark the term Motor City Machine Guns, and MCMG I don't know what that stands for. For wrestling purposes, March 19, 2024. Finish up with the TNA at the tapings in Philadelphia, March 22nd and 23rd. So, they're a great team, dude.
Yeah.
Great team. Awesome wrestlers. So, that will be fun.
Note they also provide a lot of veteran leadership, and
yes.
I don't know if they're going to be hanging out in ROH at all, but it doesn't really matter. There are so many young guys under contract with AEW and under an ROH contract that, again, when's the last time you saw a bad singles match with Shelley and Sabin in it or tag match with them in it? They can pull things out of almost anybody, no matter their style or experience. So, you know, for those of us who have seen them for 20 years, you know, in a way, it's like, okay, you know, what can they offer? But they offer a ton. They offer an absolute ton. And it's nice to see, as dumb as it sounds, way back before many of you were born, when WCW died and ECW died and All Japan Pro Wrestling was essentially dying and New Japan was in its darkest days, it was like, man, those Ring of Honor guys, as great as they were, it's like, I wonder if we'll ever actually see them be able to ascend to the top of the wrestling business with the way things are going. And when you include Adam Pearce, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, the Young Bucks, the Briscoe, you know, Mark Briscoe right now, the Machine Guns, there are just so many people that I never would have thought, I never would have believed it, the way the business was going and the way the WWE was being run at the time and their thoughts on look, they still bring NIL people in. They would much rather have that than almost anything else, but you need those other people. And I'm happy to see all of these people finally at this point, really, 20 years later, really be at the top of the wrestling business and being the ones who are going to move everything forward. Look, Chris Hero, Samoa Joe, there are a ton of them. I'm happy to see it.
Nikki Bella says she recently considered a return to wrestling. She says she's been lifting weights, and she says they always have the wrestling mindset. She said that watching Mercedes Moné debut in AEW had her deliberating about reaching out to Tony Khan. She says, when I saw Mercedes debut and cut her promo, that line stuck with me. Here we can make our evolution worldwide. Goes into many leagues, is what she means. Doesn't have to be one place, could be all the places where all these women are wrestling at. But she said, I was not willing to take time away from my son. So she did not call and will not be going to AEW.
Probably the best decision.
Said, wasn't I talking? I go, Bree, I think I can do it for a year. I can do it from here to here. I can go every week. I can be good. But then I thought of Mateo. I had a good week of, this is it. I'm going to call Tony Khan. I'm your girl. I can commit. And then I was like, I can't do that to my son right now.
No.
So...
Not only a young son, look, you got aches and pains, I'm sure. Look, I'm sure she got excited when, you know, seeing her debut and, man, this is awesome. And, man, yeah, I'm feeling it again. And then you stop and you think about it a little bit and you go, yeah, no, I shouldn't be doing that anymore. So, you know, hopefully for her, she can pick up some more acting gigs. I can't believe anybody watches Barmageddon. But you know what? If it's working out, go ahead and double down on it.
And then we've got the numbers from this past weekend. SmackDown did a huge number, 2.5 million viewers and a .76 in 18 to 49. Second highest 18 to 49 since August 25th of last year. The Masters Golf Tournament did 3.7 million and a .78 in 18 to 49. So SmackDown held up great for the show the week after WrestleMania. And then Rampage got murdered, 295,000 viewers, and 0.08 in 18 to 49. It tied with the lowest number Rampage has ever done, and it stayed the same this week despite lesser competition. Last week, they had the Hall of Fame, Supercard of Honor, NCAA March Madness Women's. As compared to the same week in 2023, Rampage down 53% in overall viewers, 62% in 18 to 49, although last year they did have NBA postseason game as a lead-in, so it's somewhat skewed. No Rampage this coming Friday. Rampage will air after Collision this Saturday, so another 3-hour AEW block, and we should have the Collision and Battle of the Belts numbers later on today, and we'll see how that 3-hour block did, but not sure about that second Battle of the Belts there. I think that Collision might have done all right, but I don't have a lot of faith in that Battle of the Belts. But those are your weekend numbers. And tonight we've got NXT, which is Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, inside a steel cage. Ridge Holland faces Joaquin Wilde, getting revenge for his friend getting his hand accidentally slammed in a door. Lola Vice and Sol Ruka. Dijak and Noam Dar. Noam Dar's the biggest. That one. He's the biggest babyface in this company.
Wait, no.
Dude, did you guys watch this segment last week with Metaphor and Oro Mensah cutting the best promo on the show? And then Dijak comes in, and it's Stand and Deliver. There was this video making fun of Dijak or whatever. And Dijak comes in, and he goes, I want to know who made that video. He's all angry and mean-looking and 10 feet tall. And Tiny Noam Dar just stands up and gets right in his face and goes, I did it. And Dijak looks down at him and he goes, this is your warning. You ain't getting another. And he turns and storms and walks off. And Noam's just like, whatever. What's that guy mad about? I was like, this guy. Their
interactions will be much better than Dijak and Joe Gacy. That is for sure.
So I cannot wait for that match. And that Oro Mensah promo, God.
It's good.
Did you guys all go back and watch Oro Mensah's infuriated promo about Obafemi? It was awesome. Anyway, Thea Hale and Tatum Paxley. Well, looking forward to that one. Tony D returns, and AOP faces Malik, Blade, and Edris Enofe. So that should be a rough one for those two blokes. And then Dynamite. Got a lot for Dynamite. Will Ospreay versus Claudio Castagnoli. That should be a great match.
Might be good.
Adam Copeland and Willow versus Brody and Julia Hart. This, of course, is leading to Willow and Julia at the show this weekend.
Adam's only friend.
Yeah. The Elite, Young Bucks and Okada versus Penta, Pac, and Daniel Garcia. That match should be incredible.
We'll have moves.
It'll have a lot of moves. Should be great. Deanna Purrazzo will face Mariah May.
But will there be kissing afterwards?
I don't know, but you know what I do know?
What's that?
There's going to be a lot of speaking. Samoa Joe will speak. Swerve Strickland will speak. Mercedes Moné will speak. Jon Moxley will speak. And Chris Jericho, Taz, and Hook will speak. So it seems like we're going to have a fine balance of speaking and also wrestling.
You would think that they would, maybe focus on that. When you have so many people speaking on the show, and that's how you're advertising. I mean, at least Taz, Jericho, and Hook are going to have some sort of team meeting, some sort of meeting of the minds there. With the other ones, maybe you should try to spice that up a little bit and actually, maybe throw on there when you're going to have 10 promos. They just don't all have to be Mercedes Moné is going to speak. Maybe they should be speaking upon something, and we should know that drama going in. I don't know.
Well, then we got Dynasty coming up with Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson, which should be great. Young Bucks versus FTR in a ladder match should be great. Julia and Willow, I don't know if that's going to be great, but I expect a new TBS champion. Willow wins the title and drops the title to Mercedes coming up in May. Adam Copeland, Eddie, and Mark Briscoe versus Malachi, Brody, and Buddy. That should be great.
Who takes the fall? Eddie?
And we'll see. I don't actually have any idea.
Triple count out?
I mean, if you're doing it right, it should be Malachi pins Adam Copeland, and then Copeland beats Malachi in May. That's what should happen.
That's what should happen.
We'll see. And then we've got Tony Storm versus Thunder Rosa for the women's world title. Okada and Pac should be great. Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland should be great. Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly should be great.
Even Tony and Rosa, they're probably going to beat the hell out of each other, so at least they're going to have that going for it.
And then Raw Monday, of course, we've got new Raw Women's World Champion crowned. Miz and Truth versus Johnny Gargano and Ciampa for the tag team titles. And Dominic and JD versus Andrade and Ricochet.
Should DIY be heels?
Should they be heels?
What do you think?
No.
No.
We got more out of the babyface run of DIY. Some point they could be, but I don't think for a while. We had to do a break. When we come back, it'll be time for some Raw notes and also your feedback. If you want to text us, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. F4WOnline@gmail.com as well. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
Here we are in the basketball room where we play lots of simple basketball games such as horse. Usually, if we get 12 friends together or however many on the team, we play a game. But today, it's horse. This guy. And you're going to get to go first because I am a kind, giving boss. Or we can play ass. Play a game of one-on-one instead. Aside from the obvious recreational facilities that we have here, I also like to use some of the facilities for my work. As many of you know, part of my job requires me to watch tapes from around the world. Mexico, Japan, different wrestling from different parts of the world, and write about it and review it. So therefore I've created this here, the media room. Got the projector, we got the big screen right here, and aside from using it for work, I also use it because young Vince here, as some of you might know, is an aspiring pro wrestler, and he's had a few matches under his belt. And as a grizzled veteran of the ring wars that I am, I like to come in here, watch the matches with Vince, give him pointers, critique him, help him out, and basically show him what he's doing right and what he can do to improve on. So we are going to watch, as a treat to you, this is a Super Chico tape, one of Vince's matches. So we'll get that thing ready to roll here. What are you doing?
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. Hey, if you want a cameo, F4W Online. Go get one. They're $25. I got to do a bunch after the show here today.
Yeah, I heard somebody on Twitter hit me up saying, when are you going to get to the backlog of these gimmicks that you got going on. I'm surprised you didn't do any at the airport.
You're talking about me?
Documenting your rage.
Somebody asked you when I'm going to do a cameo?
Yeah, said you're backed up on them.
Well, got a lot of requests. $25, everybody. Get up there. Cameo, F4W Online. I'll make it worth your while. All right. Question for the show today. Any idea where Adam Cole is on his recovery? I would like to see Cole MJF for All In. 1 year after they had the biggest main event in AEW history, they square off again, this time as bitter enemies. Since Forbidden Doors in Long Island, maybe Max returns there to confront Cole. I have heard nothing on the status of Adam Cole. I mean, the only thing that I heard was like a long time ago, and that was it was bad. What that means, I don't know. But I have not really gotten any sort of update, so...
Means it was bad.
Well, yeah.
So all that's got to heal back up, and then he's got to get back into condition and shape and try to test the thing out. That's and I assume that's where Britt Baker is taking care of him as well too. There was the talk.
I love when
Britt
people
Baker's...
go that Britt Baker's taking care of him, like he's.
Well, what is Britt doing right now? I mean, she's got the.
It's not taking care of. Listen. She's not the only one.
I love how you take things literally, like, oh my God, I said
people
Britt
say
Baker's
that.
name. Somebody say Britt Baker's name so Bryan gets really fired up about things.
Because here's the deal, everybody. She could return at any time. She's like a lot of people in this company. They're just not using her right now. Like, everyone goes, well, she's taking care of Adam Cole. Like, she can't leave the house or something like that. Meanwhile, like, if you go online, like, she's all over the place.
I don't think anybody was saying that literally. Like, she's
no, some people
like...
do. Some people do. Like, she can't be on TV because she must take care of this person. Like, he can't get out of bed. He can't use the bathroom.
Who are these people?
There's a lot of them. But it was just like Moxley. It's like everyone had 1,000 excuses about what the deal with Moxley was. And it was like, there was no excuse. They just weren't using him. And then he went and he won the title, and now he's on the show Wednesday. And I don't even know what he's going to do on the show because they already announced his next IWGP title match. And in New Japan, they wouldn't have announced that if he was going to have a title match on the show this Sunday. So, he's just back, whatever. And, Adam Cole has been on the television show without Britt Baker. So, like, he can leave the house. He can do things.
Well, we don't know that. He was there talking about Wardlow, and he was telling his story before he got all upset with him. Y'all seem to be doing that from a chair somewhere. Could have been in his house. We don't know.
I mean, there's a million people on the chat. They're like, the question here. I don't know what's going on with MJF. Like, he had a shoulder injury, but It's been months now, and there's not even, like, hints that he's going to be coming back anytime soon. I mean, they used to do things in the past where they kind of name drop or whatever, or do something to kind of tease. There's been nothing. I don't know what's going on with him. He's just not in the mix right now. So if you're asking, like, where people are, they're just not being used. And the fact of the matter is they got like 200 people under contract, like a ridiculous number of people. And so, why they're not using... Why they didn't use Moxley for a month and a half prior to him winning the title, I don't know. Why they're not using Britt Baker, I don't know. Why MJF is not back, I don't know. They're just not. So I know people want like a good reason, but there isn't one. The Young Bucks vanished. Remember the Young Bucks vanished for months after they signed their contracts. They weren't hurt. There was no reason for it. It was just they didn't do anything with them. It happens.
When's Jeff Jarrett coming back?
There's another one. I don't know. Where's Hangman? Hangman's not hurt. He vanished. He disappeared. They just said he was suspended, and where's Miro?
Well, we know where Miro is. He's recovering from injuries. He talked about that last week. So at least we have some status on Miro, who says he's going to be coming back full strength, and says Tony Khan's always thinking about wrestling, and he can respect that. So we'll see about this new run with Miro here. We've had several incarnations and stop-starts with this guy, but he's at least one where when he does come back, much like Britt Baker, much like Jamie Hayter, much like a lot of people, I think they have enough built up where even though we haven't seen them for a while, even though things have not gone perfectly during their run, as long as Miro goes out there and starts killing people, everything will be fine. And I think the same way when it comes to Baker and Jamie Hayter, too, who, again, I don't know where she's at in her recovery process, but we keep talking about All In as her return to come back, but obviously, she wouldn't just show up that day. You know, I'm sure she's going to be making some appearances before that. So that's another person who that women's division absolutely positively needs, no matter how you cut it. Her presence, her promos, how she works, the matchup she has with people, and the fact that she can have a good one. Unlike, no offense to Britt Baker, but Jamie Hayter can have a lot better matches with a lot more different people than Baker or a lot of people in that division can. So she's the one almost over anybody that I can't wait to come back at some point.
Well, it's not even about just that, but it's like, okay, obviously, you know, Rampage is doing poorly. We talked about that here. But, like, you know, their business is down everywhere, okay? And, you know, I understand you can't use everybody, but Britt Baker was like a giant star, and Jon Moxley was a giant star, moves numbers. MJF, I mean, we talked about it a million times. I know everybody hated the Devil storyline, but that thing did giant numbers. He did the biggest quarters of anybody on every single show. And where are these people? Like, I understand some people have like good matches or whatever, but where are the stars? Where are the movers? That's my question. So, anyway, how do we even get into that?
I don't know.
Somebody asked me a question, set me off?
Probably.
Okay. Well, let's talk about a couple of Raw notes here. Start from the beginning. So, Rhea Ripley did the deal. Like I said, this was a total double turn. She was 100% total babyface. Everything she said, total babyface promo. Liv came out, total heel. Liv cut a heel promo later. I mean, it was quite effective, is what it was. I mean, Rhea came off as like, man, they gave her the opening segment. They gave her the spotlight. They gave her so much sympathy. Montreal just going nuts for her. So this was very effective.
Bruh, with Rock and Roman there, it would be tough. But I'd even throw Cody Rhodes in this mix. Rhea Ripley can be the biggest star in that company. You can build to next year's WrestleMania. Her and Charlotte, her and Bianca, however you want to cut it. You can have her close the show on Sunday if she's as hot as she was in the past year. If she doesn't lose any of that, she literally can be the same way Becky Lynch was for a period of time, the biggest thing in that company, bar none.
Then we had Sheamus and Ivar, which this was just flat out stupid.
Yeah, it was.
Sheamus's first match back since August. And like, you know, somebody was mad at me today for saying like, how of all the things, like, bro, Sheamus has been gone since August. Shouldn't this be like a big deal that he comes back? They announced a couple of days ago he would be on Raw, and then he just came out for a match, no promo, nothing, and he beats Ivar, who they note is in line for a North American title shot against Obafemi. Stupid is what this was. Stupid.
Maybe he's showing up tonight and he's going to try to insert himself into that situation and maybe talk some sense into Ridge Holland.
We had the new titles given to Miz and R-Truth. I don't need to talk about this.
This went on forever.
New Day, DIY, and Creeds in a three-way for a tag title shot. DIY won. Good match, great finish. DIY versus Miz and Truth for the new World Tag Titles next week. Had a Drew promo where he just flipped his lid and destroyed a TV. We had Indian Candice versus Maxine and Ivy. Story is that Indy helped Candice cheat, so now they're both going to be heels. The match was short. It was bad. Like, Maxine at least has an excuse. She has no matches. Indy has no excuse. She's been doing this forever, and she was not good in this match.
What about the other two, your friends there, your party girls?
They weren't in this match.
They suck too.
You found a way to bury Kaden and Katana in a match they weren't even in. Okay. We had interview with Chad Gable. This was from before the show. And he was training with the Creeds.
Mm-hmm.
Creeds are going heel. which is
Did
fine.
you see Julius's Twitter today?
Yep, ready, willing, and ...
I like it. What does this mean, though, for Otis and Tozawa? I do have some concern about that.
You're going to get killed by the Creeds is what's going to happen.
Either that or maybe they go down to NXT for an extended
That's
period
fine
of
with
time.
me.
I'm good with that. Otis could be NXT champion and people would love it.
We had Andrade beating Dom, and then they attacked him, and Ricochet made the save, so we got a tag match next week. And then, yes, we did have your girls. Kate and Katana versus Chelsea and Piper. And it was short. It went like 2 minutes. Nothing to even write about.
It's just like the other one.
Kate
It
and
sucked.
Katana was fine. They're good.
Have a 4-way with those, just to have it completely stink out the building.
You are the worst.
I'm not the worst.
Unbiased. Totally biased.
I am totally unbiased. You're exactly right. Call it as I see it.
Literally everybody in the chat thinks Kate and Katana are good, and you're the only one.
Because they think she's
You're the
hot.
lone voice
Both of
in
them
the
are hot. That's
in the
what
wilderness.
it is. They want to party with them. They're like in their 30s. Like, come on, stop this.
Liv
Aren't they?
Morgan
Come on.
promo where
Jesus.
she went total heel.
We're going raving. We're going dancing.
We had a
You don't see any
hilarious
of those
Cody
anymore.
promo. They just wanted Cody on the show.
Well,
So he just came out and did like a stand-up comedy routine with no comedy.
Got 3
He'd
hours
talk
to
about
fill.
this guy. Oh, and then what about this guy? Oh, and have you heard about so-and-so?
He's had to do a lot of monologue training on stage, I'm sure.
Hey, he did
during
great.
his
I'm sure it's going to
acting
do a
days.
huge number, but he had
Yeah.
nothing to say. Nothing new to say at all. And then he introduced Jay for his match with Finn Balor. And Jay speared him and pinned him. It was just like, it was shockingly just average is what it was. And then, like, the last half hour of the show was incredible. So Jay wins, and then the heels try to beat him up, but he jumps the railing and goes into the crowd. So they get one camera guy with one camera. This guy follows Jay out of the crowd, up the stairs, follows him into the concourse where all these fans are going all nutty, follows him as he has to pie face some idiot fan that tried to grab him, follows him all the way out of the building, and he gets out of the building. There's Sami Zayn looking up at the marquee. And he goes, "What are you looking at?" Sami goes, 25 years ago. First show I ever went to in my life. This building. And now I'm returning as champion. And just like then, I'm walking in the front door. So the camera hasn't cut. Same guy. Now he turns and he follows Sami. Sami goes in the front door. He goes through the concourse. All these nutty fans are all going crazy. He goes down the stairs. Everyone's singing his song and going all nuts. Goes all the way back. It was one continuous cut. It was awesome. Awesome.
It's like the kitchen going into the place during Goodfellas. So that type of tracking shot is fantastic.
And then Sami and Chad Gable had a match, and they had no restrictions. They were killing each other. Head drops, suplexes on the neck. It was crazy. Sami wins with the kick, and then he goes to celebrate with his family, and Chad turns on him. Germans him on the floor. Beats. They got so much heat. Even more when the show went off the air. And it was great. Sami got his win in his hometown, but they did the heat angle, set up another feud, big heel turn. This the last half hour of this show made the whole thing worthwhile. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
Okay, Vince, the bells rang. I don't know if you're wrestling, some plan. Okay, first off, your lock up. Your right arm is going way out here, okay? Why would you do that for real? Your arm goes behind the dude's head. This has to be like it's real, okay? Backing off like this, it looks phony. Okay, everything you do needs to look real. I know it's hard with this dude right here with the no hair, whatever the hell, this multicolored, whatever. Okay, that looks a little bit better, but again, you're pushing him back there and you just stand right there. Don't ever throw a forearm again. You understand? Look at those horrible. And first off, half the crowd is chanting that it's phony. And the best part is, the guy that is filming is burying you. The filmer! The dude who's filming has never taken a bump in his life and he's here making fun of you. That was That was alright. When you take a bump, dude, have you ever seen me take a bump? The legs go up in the air, you hit out to the side. Look at you right here. Look at that. You got your neck up like this and your legs are all bent. Hit the mat, dude. He lifts you up there, you're going up with him. Okay? You're just standing there. Okay? That was decent. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, you have to jump. Did you guys work this out at all beforehand? Dude, don't even tell me that this is the finish. If he does a people's elbow and pins you, this clown... Is this your first match? Look at that, even the guy that's filming is laughing at you. Even the guy that's filming. You just got pinned by... Dude, hey, I'm just trying to help.
Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Tonight, it's the Bryan and Vinny Show, and we're back. WWF Challenge from 1986. I believe season 1 episode, either 7 or 8 this time. I guess I should probably find out. But these shows are fun. And actually, the last one we watched was the first one where it was like, nah, that was just kind of just a show. It's usually a bad sign. So hopefully it picks up as we head on the road to WrestleMania.
Well, yeah, WWF had some decent times in the that time period, so I'm sure things will turn around relatively quickly.
Well, that'll be tonight, and then NXT. We'll be talking about that tomorrow, and you'll be able to check out tomorrow's program. Know what I'm saying?
I do.
What do you think they're going to do in this cage match? Trick just beats him? I mean, they have to, right?
I would think so.
Unless like Carmelo beats him and then Trick wins the title and we go back to Carmelo and Trick for the 80th time. I think that ship has sailed. I think Trick needs to get the win tonight. And then the big question is, does he win the title?
Well,
Because they have discussed Trick being called up.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't win, he has to leave NXT. However, Ely has also declared for the draft. So,
and he appeared on Raw already. We saw that.
Yes.
So I just wonder if somebody's head is going to end up in that steel door.
a clever stipulation next week. Trick must win the title or leave NXT. Anyway, we'll talk about tomorrow. Thanks for listening today. We'll be back again with more. Check out WrestlingObserver.com, video.f4wonline.com, and, of course, f4wonline.com/Vegas. Hang out with us in Vegas, coming up at the NMA. And we'll talk to you next time, Wrestling Observer Live.